So last night, the alarming number is the bench scoring for the Celtics, with 26 from Olynyk, 13 from Smart, 9 from Brown. All right, so 48-5. You can't win a lot of games when you're outscored 48-5 from the bench. But John was 8 for 23 and only hit 1 out of his 8 threes, finished with 18 points. Probably his worst game of the series. Certainly when it mattered. You needed John Wall to have a big game last night. Can you explain what happened to him in the fourth quarter? We pretty much agree he was just gassed. He played 44 minutes, played a lot of minutes in the series, but usually he can fight through that. But can you explain what you saw from John last night?
Well, I saw every one of his shots came up short at the end. So clearly the guy didn't have the legs anymore. I mean, through the first 29 minutes of that game, he was 8 of 12, had 18 points, 7-8 assists, 5-6 rebounds. When he got that three-point play into this whole flexing thing, you were like, okay, I mean, he might be headed for 25, 30, and Beal's going to get 30 as well, and they're going to be able to pull this out. But from that point, the last 19 minutes of the game, he was 0 for 11 from the field, 0 for 7 on threes. Just, John has that very slow gather and release on that three, and when he does not have the legs, it just looks ugly. And when he's shooting that many, those are just last-ditch attempts. Those really aren't the classic John Wall attacking moments, and he just ran out of gas. That's all you can say. And the offense just fell out of rhythm. And there was no flow to what they were doing. It was either Brad take over or John shoot that flow three-pointer. And that's just not the offense that we've seen from this team all year.
Joined by Jerry Brewer, columnist for the Washington Post, as we talk about the Wizards falling in Game 7 to the Boston Celtics. So now you start to wonder about the future of this Wizards team, and is it going to be a brighter future, or are they kind of stuck? A lot of NBA teams get stuck, and the Wizards were here a couple of years ago when they advanced to the second round with Randy Whitman as the head coach. They played a 1 seed. At the time, that was the Atlanta Hawks, who a lot of people thought were vulnerable. John Wall had hand issues, and they ended up getting bounced, and then the next year they didn't make the playoffs. Well, this team, there's a lot of optimism right now, but they're going to have to decide on whether they bring back Otto Porter Jr. back, make some decisions. Do you think they're stuck, or they can take a next step next year?
Well, I think they can take a next step, but they're going to have to invest, and they're going to have to – Ted Leonsis is going to have to make a decision to go into the luxury tax if you want to get this team to the next level.
That ain't going to happen.
You see, but that's the – I mean, you look at the numbers. Look at the numbers here with this team. Otto Porter is going to demand $20 million.
No, you're right. That's why they're stuck. That's why they're stuck. See, that's
Bojan Bogdanovic, you gave the first-round pick for him. You don't want to just lose him. He's going to command $14 million plus a year. You need a backup point guard who can guard and who can make open shots at the corner so that he can play with Will and Ball. And that's going to take a mid-level exception, an $8 million something salary to get that done. So here we are. We're looking at it, and we're saying the bench got outscored 48-5. You put together a bench on the fly this year, trading for Bojan, getting Brandon Jennings off the waiver wire, finally getting a little bit out of Jan Mahinmi. You're going to have to put together a bench again. And you're going to have to spend money to do that. And you're going to have to make that decision with Otto. Are you going to pay him? If you're not, does somebody else who's got a next-level star want to kind of start over with a guy like Otto Porter? I don't know. But I see no way that this team is going to be able to take another step unless they go in the luxury tax territory.
Right. They're not going to. They're not going to.
The problem.
They're not exactly.
Yeah.
They're not going to. They're stuck. They peaked. I said the first thing I said the show. The fact is they've peaked. I don't see any scenario where Ted, let's be honest, he'll spend money in the right spots, but he's not going to go crazy. He's just not gonna. That's not been his track record.
Yeah, he's not going to go in the penalty range.
No way. No way. He ain't paying double for it.
Yeah.
No way. And I don't blame him.
You know, here's the thing. If they have gotten Durant, they were going to have to do that. If they had gotten Al Horford, they were going to have to do that. So instead of looking at the player or whether you got 3 stars or not, you have to finally look at this thing and say, do I want to have a relevant championship-chasing NBA team or not? You finally have an opportunity. And let's take titles out of the equation right now. You haven't won 50 games still in 38 years. You've got an opportunity to have a team if you that can win 50 games for the next 5 years, something that the franchise has not done since the 70s. What is the value of that to you? That would be my question.
All right, Jerry, appreciate the insights. Jerry Brewer, you can check him out in the Washington Post.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Anytime.